Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk news. I am El Fakador Laurie Blake, and coming up on this longer, almost festive episode of Jesus, King of the News, Becky Lynch calls out both Ronda and Charlotte, because the triple threat did wonders for her last time, Braun Strowman to be out until the Royal Rumble, and the WrestleMania 35 main event has leaked. Before we get on to Becky Lynch's ongoing flame war with Rousey and Flair, look at what Sarah Logan got for an early Christmas present. She's got a blooming flamethrower. The Riot Squad member posted the pic on her Instagram, and it's far more anarchic than your usual bin-kicking condiment wastage ways, isn't it, Sarah? So you're thinking it, I'm thinking it, new gimmick for the Riot Squad, like a sort of Mad Max vibe Riot Squad. Though if there's anything like The Rock's flamethrower from WrestleMania 32, it takes absolutely ages to set off, and then by that time the person or the curtains you're trying to set on fire will have just got out of the way. Not even Kane would be caught by that flamethrower, and he's basically human magnesium. Now, most people would say that the main reason the Riot Squad haven't lived up to their potential as flamethrower punks is because of the writing. Oh, those damn writers. Well, as we found out this week, courtesy of Jimmy Jacobs, writing a 3-hour wrestling TV show every week is effing hard. It's a comment that obviously caused a bit of a storm in the wrestling world, so Jacobs decided to join Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live to clarify some of what he meant. He said, there are 25 writers at WWE split into two teams. The home team, who stay in Stamford, Connecticut, and the road team that travels with Raw and SmackDown and produces the TV show. He then went into much more specific detail. It's a 7-day-a-week job. So while the road team is at Raw, the home team is back at Stamford, and they're helping out with rewrites on Monday and Tuesday. But by Wednesday, the home team will have an idea that they want to pitch to Vince. They'll have a meeting with Vince, and then he'll give us feedback. Sometimes he wants to change a lot, sometimes it's a little. Then on Thursday, the lead writers are putting together the pieces of what Raw is going to look at. Then Friday to Saturday, we're putting pen to paper and writing the promos. By Saturday evening, all the writers will send in the promos, and then by Sunday, the lead writers will put it all together into a proper script. They'll send that to Vince, and then by Monday, then there's the production meeting for Raw by 1 p.m. We go through the plan, and then all the writers and agents will give their feedback. Based off those suggestions, Vince will make changes, and then as a writer on the road, I'll implement those changes. We compile those changes and put them into a new version of the script. Then I tell the talent what they're doing. It sounds like the rubbish first draft of Craig David's 7 Days. So make this Raw on Monday, we're writing things on Tuesday, and then we pitch to Vince on Wednesday, and on Thursday and Friday and Saturday, still scripting on Sunday. But it does kind of give you an idea of how intense the process can be, and how little time the talent actually does have to memorize their promos, work on delivery, their intonation, and, just work out why their character would even be doing that. So actually, much respect to the wrestlers. Jacobs also said that it's an extremely difficult task to come up with new ideas, concepts, and new matches for 3 hours each week. But yeah, it's difficult writing for Vince. The prevailing goal is Vince going to like this? So you're writing things going, will Vince gonna yell at you about this? The answer is yes, Vince will gonna yell at you. Whatever that means. But really, the excuses about the product were so last week. This week, it was all about the heroic McMahon family fixing WWE. That's why a bunch of NXT superstars were announced as being called up to the main roster soon. You had EC3, Lars Sullivan, Heavy Machinery, Lacey Evans, and Nikki Cross. Flipping finally. Though I guess looking at her character, it's probably like herding cats trying to get her to change roster. EC3 was very EC3 about the news, posting on Twitter, "Congratulations to me." One name conspicuous by its absence was the Velveteen Dream, proving the rule that you don't believe everything you read on someone's legs. Dream, obviously incensed by being passed over for promotion, tweeted during Raw to get the WWE Universe on side. It's not his, Vince's call to make, it's yours. So let your voice be heard. Hashtag call Dream up at WWE Universe. NXT's Mensa-level monster Lars Sullivan also had something to say about his call-up on a now-deleted tweet, which said, "I'm admittedly being insincere. Everyone in NXT can kiss my ass, especially the 5 who stole my thunder, and all of you can kiss my ass. I hope your holidays are as miserable as mine. See you soon, WWE. Merry Christmas." Someone's getting coal this year. probably fine, he eats coal. It does, however, seem like a bit of a one-in, one-out policy when it comes to monsters in WWE, though, because while Lars is on his way in very slowly, Braun Strowman is still out recovering from injury, and apparently will be until at least the Royal Rumble. Because after the TLC match with Baron Corbin, where a slinged up Strowman got his mates to duff up old Bazza Corbs, WrestleVotes tweeted, "As we said, Strowman wouldn't compete. Source says he's not cleared until the Rumble." Which seems fair enough, because the last I saw his arm was a crazy shade of purple. Hopefully Braun does make it back by the Rumble though, as he's exactly the sort of big draw that could help stabilise the viewing figures, which have been absolutely nosediving for the past few weeks, but did get a little boost this week at the hands of one Vinnie Mac. The Raw audience was up 16% from last week's record low of 2.19 million viewers, ending up at 2.55 million viewers, the best figure since the Raw following Hell in a Cell. The first hour of this week's show, with the McMahon family promising the world and delivering Raw, was strong, but actually below that of the November 12th and November 19th shows. But then the drop-off this week wasn't actually as bad as it had been recently, and the third hour with the women's gauntlet match was the best hour 3 since October 22nd. So really, it was the lower level of drop-off that led to it being the highest rated Raw in the last 3 months, and not one Vincent McMahon. And it was a similar deal with the viewership over on SmackDown, which was back up to 2.81 million this week, an increase of 15% after falling below the 2 million mark for the past couple of weeks. And with an 89% retention rate of the Raw audience, it was right in the range of what SmackDown has been doing recently. Steer the ship, mate. Keep it on the straight and narrow. But really, you can have all the call-ups and the Strowman and as many McMahons as you like. Get Linda involved. It doesn't actually matter, because the saving grace of WWE, in my opinion, is what's going on between Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. Sadly, there was no showdown between all three players following TLC, where Rousey was the one to cost the man and the Queen the SmackDown Women's title. But thankfully, for this feud at least, social media exists, and that's where the face-off continued, because Rousey took to Instagram to explain her actions at the pay-per-view. Hashtag TLC wasn't revenge, it was a warning. Charlotte, Becky, you're both lucky I let you off so easy. Asuka deserves to be champion more than either of you cheating cowards. And Becky Lynch says she came at me head on. Becky Lynch has only ever attacked me when my back was turned. That's some more hashtag backwards bullshit. Becky. If you and Charlotte are smart, you'll consider the score settled, learn this lesson, move on, and don't provoke me again. Check link in bio for context. Slight swerve at the end there. I hate you, I wish you were dead. Check link for reasons. But it was actually a solid volley from Rousey, but she is up against Becky, the queen of trash talk, Stig of the dumping on Rousey. Lynch retorted with this picture of her owning Ronda and Rousey's pants not down, saying, "I remember now, you said I attacked you with your pants down, you little weirdo. Not going to lie though, I did walk into your dressing room and see an ass, but it was fully dressed." Not quite done though, she also took a sideways shot at Charlotte. "Hey Charlotte, I've replied to Ronnie now, so you can come along behind me, copy me, and put woo at the end, you know, like how you do in work." Becky's like equilibrium with these Twitter shots. Gun Carter, N Carter, Microsoft N Carter. Microsoft Gun Carter, a very different program. But despite most of it happening on Twitter, it does seem like this three-way slanging match will actually go somewhere to a ring, ideally, because according to John Fisher of Oh You Didn't Know, WWE has already informed 7-time women's champion Charlotte Flair that she'll be main eventing WrestleMania 35. Now obviously we had rumours of this from around summer this year, saying that Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte would be the main event of Mania, but that all seemed to change once Becky Lynch came on the scene, and the massive reaction the WWE Universe had to the idea of her facing off against Ronda at Survivor Series. So then, many people thought those two might be the main event of Mania. But then, Becky's face got broke and Charlotte replaced her and got a huge reaction for kendoing Rousey to within an inch of her life. And now it seems like WWE still plan on having Charlotte main event, as John Fisher says. A good source told me within the last week or so that despite the booking of the TLC match with Charlotte, Asuka and Becky Lynch before the Charlotte Ronda Rousey match at Survivor Series, that Charlotte was told that should be in the main event of WrestleMania. Brad Shepard also reportedly added that he heard that there were even plans for a triple threat match at WrestleMania between Lynch, Flair, and Rousey, which is actually always quite a good way to protect someone like Ronda Rousey. But actually, it still seems like it's all a bit up in the air what we'll actually be getting at WrestleMania. Will we get Charlotte versus Rousey, Becky versus Rousey, or a triple threat with all three? Besides the indecision, the good thing to come out of all of this, though, is that all of the evidence is currently pointing to the women of WWE main eventing on the grandest stage of all, which frankly is awesome. Johnny Wrestling doing wrestling, but not at WWE, apparently. And you can find out where and how by clicking the video on screen now, and give us a subscribe to stay up to date on all of the latest wrestling news. I've been El Fakador, and that was Lucha.